Alright, everyone, welcome back to the 5-digit United States Cup. We are here with our very first match of the round of 16, and that's right, it is happening on a Monday night at 7 UTC. It is the graveyard shift to get us started. I am Bless in the casting booth, joined by Laren. How are you doing tonight?
Doing amazing, sir. Good morning, USA. Good morning. Let's freaking go.
Good morning, East Coast, maybe. I think it's still middle of the night for most of us. Barely call 3 a.m. morning for those East Coasters. Yeah, not quite reaching UTC -3 with those Nova Scotia people. I don't think any part of the United States reaches quite that far. But let me tell you about this match that we got tonight. It is Utah versus Wisconsin in the Major League. Utah, they've been on a pretty good rise in the past few years, finishing 13th through 16th. Last year, their best placement yet, their best finish so far, and they're going to be looking to try and repeat after a little bit of a hiccup in the first round. Meanwhile, Wisconsin looking pretty strong in their first round matchup, getting to match point first against one of the top seeds, North California, and making them force Wisconsin to go to the tiebreaker. Of course, ultimately losing there, and that's why we do see them in this lower bracket matchup. And funny enough, last time these two teams met, a couple years ago, back in 2024, also in that first round in the lower bracket, and back then it was Utah to take the match 6-1, knocking Wisconsin out of the tournament. But Wisconsin hoping to not let history repeat itself. And if they do have one thing going for them, it's the fact that Utah, they did lose some of their well-roundedness going from last year into this year. They lost Charby, and he was sort of their third man to fill in the easy/reading picks. So the easy, the hidden twos, those maps of the pool. In return, they have gotten Koyanagi Kaho, who is going to strengthen their mechanics for sure. But when you already have a core of Alfio, Zyper, and Mendako, we're putting a bit of a question as to how much more strengthening you really need on that core. As for Wisconsin, of course, going to be looking pretty strong with potential. Their captain of 3 years, and of course joined by Greeny, a longtime member, and play Hidden 3, also known as Lemonade O. They're two most long tenured players ever since Wisconsin started playing in the 5-digit United States Cup back in 2023. And of course joined by 3 newbies. Horsey26 coming up from B Team last year, and going to be joined by Slugcat and Lifewater. So yeah, we are into the bans already. It looks like Wisconsin has opted for that first ban. It's going to be the Hard Rock 1. What do you think we're going to be seeing for these bans here, Laren?
I think we're probably going to expect probably a DT4 ban from Wisconsin, notably not doing too well on a very similar map, DT3 in qualifiers, I believe. I think generally not too great at high AR ults. They did have a good score on Nomad 3, but yeah, that's the only thing I can think of for Wisconsin. For Utah, I mean, probably just, what was it, any gimmick, right? They do have one.
Yeah, losing out a bit on their gimmick roster. Notably, they do still have an edge on the easy over Wisconsin out of qualifiers. And that's probably a better indicator of how these teams are shaping up compared to the round of 32 pool. Of course, round of 16, quite a bit more difficult than the round of 32 this year, as opposed to some other years. There's a lot more complexity, and I would say that is a bit more due to this year's round of 32 pool being quite simple. You know, a lot of very simple, straightforward aim mechanics maps seen in the previous round, and in this round we are getting quite a bit of gimmick course, we do still have our fair share of mechanics, and we are going to be seeing 2 mechanics maps stand out right there, Hidden 1 and Force Mod 1. Today is not the day we'll be seeing that. Potentially a little bit scared of the higher BPM, hybrid-ish mechanics. And then the Hidden 1. This Hidden 1 is quite difficult, but it is very much so an aim map, and so it's quite interesting how both teams seem to be banning out aim. And there goes the Hidden 2 from Wisconsin, interestingly enough.
Yeah, so, I mean, I will take back what I said about the Utah gimmick bans. It does make sense for them to leave it open, seeing as Wisconsin does have lower reading performance, it seems. So yeah, that's understandable for them to ban aim. Wisconsin, yeah, with the lower reading skill, Hidden 2 makes sense, and then Hard Rock 1, probably just like not too great at that map in particular. There were some worrying Hard Rock scores in their qualifiers as well. So maybe just some more discomfort on the Hard Rock.
Yeah, and a note about the Hidden 2, it's potentially... I think Utah might have left it up because Wisconsin's main star potential, he's not exactly a low AR player, and picking low AR reading into Wisconsin would be one way to get their strongest player out of the lobby. Now, of course, Horsey is equally strong at Hidden. He is an all-rounder, but he's quite Hidden slanted, quite good at things like the Hidden 2 and the Hidden 3. So, yes, you are getting potential out of a lobby, but Horsey is still in there, and you do want to have someone who can fight. And, well, I'm guessing they think they have people who can fight, and Wisconsin doesn't. But yeah, these bans are quite interesting, to say the least. You know, 3 mechanics bans, the Hard Rock 1, Hidden 1, Force Mod 1, all coming out, and then the Hidden 2 to cap it off. But that is neither here nor there. We'll see how the pick strategy shapes up as we get into the first pick, which is going to be a No-Mod 2 from Wisconsin.
Yeah, interesting. I will note that I do believe Wisconsin is just like mainly that mechanics team. We have, I believe, we have Horse, probably, yes. Oh yeah, it's going to be, we already see the lobby. So it is Horsey, Greeny, and Potential in for the tapping in the side of Wisconsin.
Yeah, Greeny, well, Horsey and Potential going to be the usual suspects in for basically everything and anything and everything. Greeny, he's been de-rusting, but historically he has been quite an integral part of the Wisconsin roster, you know, captaining for their first 2 years in the 5USC United States Cup, and then passing the torch eventually to Potential from last year. But of course, going to be very well-rounded as a long-time tournament 5USC veteran.
And as you were speaking, we will have the lineup for Utah also come in. Just going to be that, you know, that core mechanics roster of Alfie, Zyper, and Mendako. Is it Zyper or Zipper?
I think it's Zyper.
I see. Yeah, just going to be those guys. Not really anything out of the ordinary here. Only thing to note on this map is, if you're unfamiliar, this is a not exactly a stamina check, but more a flow aim check. A little bit different from the previous No-Mod 2s.
Yeah, gonna have lots of Axel decel streams, and we actually start off right away with one. This map not giving the players any time to ease into things. No, you just chuck a Axel decel right away at them from the very start. It's gonna be Alfio to break at the end of that opening section, and so, well, there is a small accuracy difference that is going to keep the score relatively balanced, but that is only until Mendako follows it up with a break of his own, and that is going to give Wisconsin a small lead. Does trade it back from Potential, and this map is quite short, so these breaks, although they do feel quite early on, it's already a quarter of the way into the map. That's going to be a pretty decent score cap on both Potential and Mendako, probably capped at around 700 to 800k. Assuming they FC the rest of the map, which Potential will not be doing.
Oh my goodness, what just happened to Wisconsin?
This team as well, it's a complete collapse from Wisconsin early on. This is not how you want to start off your own pick.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like most of Utah is just really comfortable on this map. Uh, not struggling at all on these aim patterns, but notably, we haven't gotten to the most difficult part yet. This is like pretty chill for the map. There's not really any like super space streams until the very end. So yeah, seeing Wisconsin break is pretty worrying. You're just gonna have to wonder like, can they hold on in the end? Because that's their only option. Like they're gonna have to FC the rest of the map, and we are gonna have to see Utah break.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Wisconsin, we are already nearing the end of the map with a 500,000, almost 600,000 score lead for Utah, and they've held on for more than long enough. Zyper no longer holding on to the SS he had at the break, and Mindako gonna be finding some chain misses, but it's not gonna matter at this point. We're already 700k in the hole. Big chain misses coming out from Alfio and Mindako, but they're gonna be traded on the other side. It doesn't matter, and early break point to Utah as they look to make a solid continuation.
Can we talk about that score? What the hell, Zyper? That's probably going to be number one, like for the entire week. Not gonna lie. I mean, at least top 3. Look at that accuracy. 3 100s, no slider ends drop from Zyper.
And notably, Zyper in Utah's run last year, he was not present for their quarterfinals match, and they did end up finishing in that 13th through 16th position. Had he been there, they might have even been able to go further, as he was one of their most important players, just really strong on all sorts of mechanics and really showing why he has that sort of reputation within his own team as their carry. So yeah, early break point to Utah, and we'll have to see what these teams are going to pick, because from the bans, we really don't know anything. We just know both these teams are not really liking the aim mechanics, and then Wisconsin may be a little bit more gun-shy on Hidden 2. Now, fortunately for Utah, the Hidden 2 ban does kind of signal that maybe Wisconsin is a little bit weak on the easy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they might just be able to pick into the easy here and say Wisconsin, hey, it's your go. You have to show how you want to pick into the rest of the mechanics pool.
Yeah, Utah notably placing 7 seeds above Wisconsin on the easy one in qualifiers. I mean, like in raw statistics, it was only about 160,000 team score difference, but that is still like pretty sizable. Notably, this week's easy I think is harder than the quals easy. Not as practicable, definitely a lot longer and a lot more aim requirement. So that is an option for Utah, but actually they will lean into the tapping, trying to double down on that dominance that we just saw in the Nomad 2.
Yeah, we will touch on the decision making regarding the easy one pick later, assuming it does come up, but for now, DT2, it's going to be some 240 BPM short bursts, or maybe these would be called long bursts. They're about 9 notes long, but none of them really going any longer than that. They're not really that much. They're not really that straining either. I would say this tapping map stands out a little bit compared to others in that the aim spacing is actually a little bit large on a few patterns. As long as you're comfortable bursting 240, I think that's realistically the only place you would break, and it's also a minute 39 seconds. So Utah saying they feel really comfortable on the tapping, they're feeling really confident and consistent, and they think they can just slam out some FCs real quick, while Wisconsin is probably looking a little worse for wear, and the qualifier stats do show that the DT2 it's 17 placings of a gap between Utah and Wisconsin, 13th to 30th. And yes, that does only consist of 700,000 score on a DT2 of all maps, but at a certain point, you do have to say something about the roster depth when you look at those stats.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of rosters, we will have the same core for Utah be playing this map. But on the side of Wisconsin, we did have, I believe it was Greeny switch out for Horsey. Notably, Greeny apparently not too well known for his stamina, and especially with his D-rust after coming back from his trip, I could see why we would rather put in Horsey for that.
Yep, Horsey also pretty good at tapping. Actually, I think it was Slugcat who was swapped out, no?
Oh, no, Slugcat played. It was Greeny for Horsey.
Okay, we're just not even paying attention to the match while we're casting it and can't.
So everyone on Utah actually broke
broke
already. So this is an early score lead for Wisconsin, but it's not gonna be too big of a difference, especially with that misfire potential. But Zyper did find a break. So okay, what the hell's happening? No one can combo. We just have the one combo from Horsey remaining in the lobby, and it's gonna be. No, that's not going to be a break. So the players won't know, but yeah, this is I think this is going to be score advantage for Wisconsin. As long as Horsey can hold on to this free combo section right here, they should be walking away with this unless they fall apart completely on the last key eye, because the map is almost done already.
Yeah, I mean, 400,000 score, like, yes, you do have to account for the DT mod multiplier, but at some point, and especially with Zyper dropping his combo, their potential falling is not going to matter. That is one of the low combos, and with a full team-wide wipe on the side of Utah, that is going to be this point locked away from Wisconsin. So maybe some late-night nerves playing into this. You know, it is around 2 a.m. over there in Wisconsin in the Central Time Zone, I believe is where they are, and Utah in the Mountain Time Zone going to be 1 a.m. so quite late for these players, and you know, some late night nerves. Maybe can't quite aim the notes as well as you'd like, and Zyper going to be a little bit upset about that one. Zero miss, but unfortunately that is the FC from Horsey to seal a break point traded back for Wisconsin.
Yeah, two break points to start off the match here. Neither team really succeeding on their own tapping pick, but I mean, the winners respectively taking that point by a massive margin, 700,000 apiece.
Yeah, I mean, both these matches kind of held relatively close throughout the early parts, but at some point, one of the teams just broke and then slowly fell apart throughout the rest of the map, and we did end up with some decisive scorelines. And yeah, it's just going to be a quick snapback into the DT3.
Yeah, so I mean, really interesting strategy. They're just doubling down again and again.
Tripling
this DT3,
down. Even.
Yeah. This DT3 isn't like the previous ones, because we have a DT4 slot this week. This DT3 is your traditional speed, even shorter burst than the last map. Not any alts. It is 261 BPM, so very similar to the DT2 that we just saw. Hopefully Wisconsin can replicate their success on that one. We will have a sub for the side of Utah though. We have Koyanagi Kaho coming in for, I believe it was Zyper, who notably did S-rank that last map, but unfortunately couldn't carry hard enough as he did on the Nomad 2.
Yep, Koyanagi Kaho coming up from B team last year and making an appearance in the major leagues and the big leagues. They are another all-rounder. They do favor Hard Rock for their mechanics mod of choice. But of course, this is DT. I do wonder if this is just a BPM gap at a certain point, and Zyper isn't feeling comfortable aiming such a high BPM, or maybe tapping such a high BPM, although they are supposed to be very good at tapping, so it is quite interesting as to why Utah would swap these two players out. But hey, late night, you know, it's 1 a.m. over there. Who knows what's going on in their VC? Who knows how the players are feeling physically even? But yeah, we are going to get into this map real quick. 261 BPM. The bursts are quite short. Nothing that much longer than 5 to 7 notes or so. Yeah, it does make up for that in having some quote-unquote finger control elements of, you know, some back-to-back bursts, maybe separated by a slider or two here and there.
Yeah,
but this is going to be pretty similar.
We'll have Greeny for the side of Wisconsin coming back in to replace Slugcat. Notably, in his notes, once again, not well known for his stamina, but that's okay because, like we said, this is a pretty short burst map. So yeah, Unfortunately, though, he's not doing too great on the accuracy department, but I mean, they do have the lead for now because I think it's Koyanagi Kaho, as we pointed out, also not doing too great. But unfortunately, Horsey's going to find a miss for Wisconsin, so that will be score lead equalized now.
Yep. To be honest, as Koyanagi Kaho does trade back the miss, to be honest, probably not worth too much reading into these roster swaps. Most likely just minor optimizations on the part of each team. Although this Koyanagi Kaho switch all the way down at 88% accuracy, the lowest in the lobby by a long shot, and that is really stifling the growth of their lead that they their combo lead that they previously held onto, and are no longer holding on to anymore. Although the accuracy from Alfio and Mendako, those are putting in work, 97 and 95. Although there goes the combo of Alfio, not going to be traded out by anyone in Wisconsin. So that is a score and combo lead to them now, and especially as Mendako breaks, and this is just looking like a repeat of the DT2 at this point, albeit a bit delayed in terms of when that score does flip.
Yeah, that's going to be 300,000 and growing for the side of Wisconsin. I believe that's 2 FCs to none. Horsey with a solid recovery with his accuracy there. So yeah, Wisconsin finally, I mean, we finally have a team winning either one of their picks, and it's going to be Wisconsin.
Looks like Wisconsin does seem to come out on top on the tapping. No, not that many real tapping picks left in the pool after this. There's technically Hard Rock 3, which is a bit of a rhythm, and of course the Hidden 2, some low BPM tapping and flow aim. But that's much less so the kinds of hard tapping mechanics that you'll see from the DTs, and definitely much more on the gimmicky side.
Wait, Koyanagi Kaho actually zero missed that, so nobody in the lobby out of all 6 players missed on that map. Just 5 S ranks and a low AC S rank for Koyanagi Kaho. Very interesting.
Yeah, effectively in S rank. You know, if the AC is a little bit better, it's definitely an S rank every day. No misses on anyone, but unfortunately, Wisconsin doing a bit better job of holding on to the combo. And one thing I will want to point out in the stats, Wisconsin seed number 5 on Nomad 1. And Utah, they were down there at 18th. So now looking back, the ban choices from Utah do make sense, but I'm still a little bit confused after seeing the Hard Rock 1 ban from Wisconsin, which is the Hard Rock 1 this week is effectively the Nomad 1. It's just some anime consistency, hybrid consistency, and seeing them ban that at first sort of signals that they're not exactly big on the aim picks of the pool, and I don't think the Hidden 1 and Force Mod 1 were necessarily the best bans from Utah.
I mean, of course, to be more specific, I think it is probably just a Hard Rock. That's the issue for the side of Wisconsin. They did have 28 and 34 on those 2 maps in qualifiers respectively. But yeah, I mean, I think they can win on aim, but it was really just that Hard Rock, those Hard Rock scores hurting them in qualifiers.
Okay, that is interesting then.
Yeah, we'll have the precision map coming out for the side of Utah.
Yeah, this is interesting. Finally playing into some of the gimmicks, and notably, a couple of their Hard Rock players have not, or excuse me, a couple of Wisconsin's Hard Rock players, who you would assume are also their precision players, have not been around recently. Although Lifewater stepping into the lobby, it looks like they are finally back from their trip in Austria. Expected they would be back around quarterfinals, but I guess they got back a little early for the round of 16. Actually, no, this is still the round of 16. It has been 2 weeks since I heard about their trip. Of course, forgetting about the break a little bit. But yeah, they are going to be accompanied by Slugcat and Horsey. Horsey probably in for the lower AR and just general all-roundedness, and Slugcat, another aim-slanted all-rounder who does like the Hard Rock mod, so probably fairly comfortable with the high CS of this map, which is 8.8, by the way. Almost CS9, something you'll almost never see in 5-digit tournaments.
Yeah, and I'm gonna point out on the flex map that we had last week, we did notably have Utah beating out, or sorry, Wisconsin. No, I'm tweaking. Yeah, so Utah was the only one that played that map. We don't have any info on precision for last week for Wisconsin, so it is kind of just based on qualifiers for the side of Utah. But yeah, they did a pretty good job on that flex map last week with a 1.15 million team score.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing... Well, I was gonna say I thought we were seeing why Utah picked into this as who were probably practicing this map a lot, but as the map went on, it does look like Wisconsin have stabilized a little bit, gotten used to the small circles and the slow AR. AR8 is this map, and this map, another really short one, only 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes, and these combos, they're gonna keep growing, and that score lead will follow behind it. 260k already in Wisconsin's pockets. And Utah are finally starting to build up some recoveries, but they need Wisconsin to break soon. There is a little bit of a jump section going into this ending, but it might already be a little too late, as it looks like Alpha Yo did drop his combo earlier. There goes Lifewater finally dropping his, but it is already 500,000, almost 500,000 in the hole, and is looking fairly uncomebackable, especially with the Nomad. And the map also already reaching its end. And yes, that will be another break point for Wisconsin, as they do go up 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what they're going for, if I'm going to be honest. This map is extremely volatile. You have to be really, really consistent on the precision. Even like just a little bit of nerves can really throw you off. Super short map. I think only about 500 or so combos. So if you miss in the middle of the map, it's really all about the timing of where you break. If you do, if you miss in the middle of your map, I mean, it's just completely doomed for the team score. You're just score capped at like something like 400 or 500k, and unfortunately that is pretty much what happened to every single Utah player.
Yeah, Wisconsin just able to hold on a little bit longer, a little bit more comfortable, and also Lifewater seeing some first map nerves, but probably seeing a little bit more of those for as Fuhuo, I would assume 85% accuracy. It was where they lied in. Unfortunately for the other two players, Alfie on a 2 miss and Koyanagi Kaho on a 1 miss. Just not quite holding the combos where they needed to, but it will be a Nomad 4 pick for Wisconsin as they look to press their advantage, press the attack. And this is some mech tech. The sliders are pretty simple, and instead it's going to be some interesting patterning on the bursts, as well as, of course, you would always have with mech tech a little bit of a finger control, some quads, some 6 notes, some varied burst lengths in there. Another short map, by the way, only 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Every single map we've seen so far has been on the shorter side.
Yeah, this is just another map that you really have to hold on to your combo. I was gonna say this is kind of interesting to me, Wisconsin picking into this map. Like you mentioned, the sliders aren't that complicated. It's not too much tech, but there is some, again, some flow aim requirement, which we didn't see them do too hot on the Nomad 2, right?
Yeah, Wisconsin winning both of the DT tapping maps, but notably losing on the Nomad 2, which it was tapping, but it was flow-oriented tapping at a very similar BPM to this one. And some of the snaps and the spacing can get a little sudden on these patterns. Like you'll see all of a sudden some notes, the timing, the distance timing is the same. It's still a 1/4 snap. Yet all of a sudden it goes from a stacked burst to a fully spaced single note outside of the rest.
Yeah, I mean, personally, if I'm Wisconsin, I would be a little scared to pick this map, especially seeing the Nomad 2 from Utah. And I will point out the number 5 qualifiers Nomad 3 score, which is a little reminiscent, just some snap aim with flow. So yeah, we'll see how these teams turn out. But so far, they're both holding on to the intro pretty well here.
Of course, Potential, the captain, staying in as per usual. Going to be accompanied by Lifewater and Slugcat here. A couple of Hard Rock players. Interesting to see them in for the tech, but I guess who else? And on the other side, who else would it be other than Alfio and Mindako? Interestingly enough, still no Zyper. He is taking a bit of a break this time, letting Koyanagi Kaho in. And yeah, the sliders are a little bit funkier than I had remembered. Excuse me for that one. But it really is a lot about this flow aim on some of these bursts, the weird burst shapes, the cuts.
Can we point out? Oh, I was about to say, can we point out Wisconsin's accuracy? 3 players had over 99% there, but unfortunately, Lifewater will find a chain miss, and that's going to be sub 98%. It was for a long time just Koyanagi Kaho's accuracy holding Utah back, even with Mendako's insane accuracy for a bit there. But I mean, now they will be solidly taking the score advantage with 3 FC still to just 2 for Wisconsin.
Yeah, we'll see just how quickly they can balloon their lead, but there's really not a lot left of this map, as I said earlier. Just 2 minutes and 21 seconds. 3 full combos still holding on to, but there comes the slider stream, and it's 3 breaks. Actually, that was a Bancho break on Koyanagi Kaho, and it's just a double break from Wisconsin. Koyanagi Kaho will finally break on the flow aim of one of those bursts in the Ki, but I think they have done more than enough for their team. Alfio and Mindako still holding on to their double FCs, and there goes Potential, and there goes the potential of Wisconsin to take this point. Utah going down 3-1, but snapping back pretty quickly with a break point of their own, as that is a 600k score lead on Wisconsin's own pick.
Yeah, I mean...
And yeah, as you were alluding to, the No Mod 2, the flow aim aspects, not working out as much for Wisconsin. Going to be favoring Utah there.
Yeah, and I did mention the Quals No Mod 3 as well. I mean, that was literally the exact same roster they put in for that map. And as you can see, what a performance again. Like, I mean, that's just a great team score. I think that's going to be top 3 this week for this map.
Yeah, definitely going to be seeing a lot of high scores, but a double FC with a singular FC choke going to be pretty high up there on the leaderboards. And now we do come to a bit of a pause, as Utah going to be thinking of their pick. We are out of... I guess I sort of was forgetting about the No Mod 4 in terms of listing off all the tapping adjacent maps. That's definitely more tapping adjacent than something like the Hard Rock 3, and of course the Hidden 2 being banned out already. So we do kind of have an open playing field now as to where the picks should go next. Of course, both of Utah's picks so far not exactly working out for them. The DT2 tapping and the No Mod 5 hyper precision. It's going to be the Hidden 3. So this is just going to be some pretty standard 120 BPM snap alt. There's a little bit of flow, a little bit of snap. It's a pretty decent
map. I think you could call this an A map. This is like low key. You could pull this as a hidden one, I think. And I mean, yeah, that's what makes this pick a little interesting for me. Utah deciding to, so far in this match, stray away from the aim picks, but they will be, I don't know, they will be picking this Hidden 3. And I mean, there is, like you said, some snap alt requirement, but I feel like you could single tap this if you are proficient.
Yeah, definitely a very single tappable BPM one, only down there at 120. And yeah, we had a bit of a Mexican standoff on the aim, but Utah gonna be the first to blink. And this is also coming after they banned the Hidden 1. Yes, the Hidden 1 in this pool is much bigger spacing than what we have on the Hidden 3. But it is a bit of an interesting pick, as you highlighted. This is very much so an aim map. Also interesting to note, this map is 3.5 minutes long. The longest map we've played in this pool by a long shot. Over a minute longer than the next longest map in the pool, which was the No Mod 4 just now at 2 minutes and 21 seconds. But we do have some interesting sliders and rhythms to get us started off, but we will very quickly be getting into the alt, as Utah sticking with this trio of Alfio, Mindako, and Koyanagi Kaho. Still no Zyper, it must be said. And what also must be said is Wisconsin, no Horsey. He is supposed to be their hidden specialist, but they're putting in both Greenie and Slugcat in over him.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting to me, but I mean, this is, I mean, you don't see, you know, fast hit and aim too much. So to be fair, this might be out of his skill set. I feel like if you're not a hidden player and you are good at aim, this is still pretty playable for you. So maybe just like a look at the team sheet moment. So far, he is doing pretty good.
I mean, I will say this is probably one of the easiest maps in the pool, as I see that Slugcat gonna find a miss on the aim there. So yes, it is very learnable for your other players who might be more proficient at aim, but I have no doubt that Horsey as a hidden player is going to be quite well versed in the hidden alt maps that typically get pulled in the hidden 3. But as we reach the beginning of the first TI, it's going to be Greenie and Mendako trading off breaks, but there goes potential as well. Going to be traded out by Alfio, and so it's just Koyanagi Kaho, the rookie of Utah, holding on to the Lone FC in the lobby. Slugcat on a very small recovery, but this is already enough for a 100 and almost 50,000 score lead at the end of the first TI for Utah.
I mean, yeah, we do also have a pretty sizable accuracy advantage for Utah, so I mean, maybe we were wrong to doubt them. They do have some aim wins over Wisconsin in terms of qualifier scores that are worth pointing out. That will be the hidden 1 and also the hard rough 1. So yeah, take that into account. And maybe the Nomad 1 just unlucky circumstances, like you pointed out. But as I was talking, Koyanagi Kaho will drop his FC. So this is definitely still up in the air. This is a lot of potential for Wisconsin to bring this back. Only, I mean, still a third of the map left, so that's over a minute. But I think we will need to see probably one more break from the side of Utah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about this. Wisconsin, 3 really sizable recoveries, and especially Slugcat up at 99. Alfio also breaking right before the break. And Mendako looking at the scoreboard, and you see that reaction as they go into the ending section of the map. But here we go, Slugcat gonna find another break right off the rip. It's just down to potential and Greenie to bring back 140,000 score. But Mendako still holding on nicely. Can he hold the line? That is the question. There goes potential. Going to be traded out by Alfio and Koyanagi Kaho, but that is not the breaks you need if you want to come back as Wisconsin. And I think Mendako has just done enough after Koyanagi Kaho. There is, I mean, hold on. Mendako does break here. 100,000 score.
How many seconds left? There's like 10? Surely not.
Yeah, I think the map is just about done here. And yeah.
Yeah. Did get a little dicey in the end, but I mean, for most of that map, it was a pretty good lead for Utah. I mean, yeah, the nerves seem to have gotten to the side of Wisconsin first in Slugcat after seeing the difference, but yeah, really well done from Koyanagi Kaho once again.
Yeah, the rookie coming in, putting in solid work, holding on to the map when his team is crumbling around him, and then he does drop the ball at the end, but Mendako is there to pick it right up, and with Utah going to be tying things up 3-3 as they finally manage to consolidate a break point and find a win on their own pick for the first time this match. Now, one thing I do have to point out here is there is another elephant in the room that we haven't been talking about, and that is Utah's 5th placing on the Nomad 3 in qualifiers.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, I did talk about that for
you did.
Nomad 4. So
okay, well, it was on the table for Nomad 4, but we hadn't brought it back up when it was relevant for the hidden 3. And yeah, the alt map proficiency on the alt definitely showing through, especially compared to Wisconsin's 20th placing on that. But we will be moving on from that conversation now as it is into some DT1. And we have 10.3. It's high AR. It's finally here. The magical number.
The only other
0.3.
Notably, the only other 10.3 map that we've had in this tournament so far was that qualifiers DT3, and both teams did seem to struggle on that one quite a bit.
I think that one was also 10.2.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was 10.2.
Okay, my bad. Okay. But yeah, this is a pretty reasonable pick for Wisconsin. They did seed a decent margin above Utah on this qualifiers DT1, 9 versus 18, and that is almost that's like a 300k score gap.
Yeah, I mean, the other point would be that they did seed 5th on the No Mod 1 as opposed to 18th, so probably pretty comfortable in their aim consistency. Maybe a little bit lacking on the high AR, but of course the gimmickiness of the DT3s, which we have seen the high AR being put on so far this tournament, probably detracting quite a bit from their scores there. And we do see some lobbies, some players entering the lobby. Alfio, of course, continues perma lobby, and finally Zyper making his return. Going to be accompanied by Quad Salcho, also known as Anomaly, making his first appearance this match. Normally just a reading player, but also quite good at DT as well as just general mechanics. So probably getting put in for some of the 10.3 proficiency that his other teammates might be struggling on the other side, of course. Potential, not going to be as comfortable on this one, instead having Horsey come in accompanied by Greeny and Slugcat. This map, it's actually newly ranked. It's in the ranked section from just a few months ago, back in March, and it is basically what you're seeing already for the rest of the map. It is just a pretty cookie cutter standard DT1, just lots of comfy aim, a little bit of bursts here and there. You go back a couple of years, back to 2023, 2022, and this is the exactly kind of DT1 that you'll be seeing in every single tournament everywhere. We do already see a couple of misses coming out from both sides. Greeny and Quad Salcho going to be trading back and forth, but it is the accuracy, only 93% down on Anomaly, that will be making the difference, and that difference is 90,000 in favor of Wisconsin at the moment as we go into the second verse.
I mean, yeah, that's the... Okay, I was about to say, that's the only reason Wisconsin is in the lead right now, but we will have Utah dropping every single combo within the span of about 5 seconds, so that's going to be 2 FCs to none now for the side of Wisconsin. Pretty successful pick so far.
Yeah, Slugcat and Horsey looking really comfortable on this one, both holding 98% accuracy. Of course, really good stuff. Slugcat, unfortunate slider break right there, as I was talking about him. So now it's just Horsey, but have already put together a solid 500,000 score lead, and there are very tiny recoveries on the side of Utah. I think, we don't like to call things early over here, but we might be calling this one a bit early. Horsey and Greeny both do go down, but so does the recovery of Zyper, and it's just Alfie and Anomaly on these tiny recoveries. Like, yes, there is the DT multiplier that can make this go over, but you can already see that scoreline is not budging at all. We are quickly approaching the end of the map, and that 500k score lead is going nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, so this will be a successful pick out of Wisconsin. Looking like this match might just be a fight to the death here. I don't want to say that early, but yeah, this might be a banger, guys.
And we do already have both teams approaching match point, especially if Utah manages to secure another pick of their own, although that has been a bit of a struggle for them so far this match. But Wisconsin sitting up 4-3 as they await Utah's pick. Of course, we are already into best of 11 in the round of 16, expanding that pool. Of course, we do have some bigger pools than other tournaments in the 5-digit USA States Cup. With the addition of the easy pool, that does mean our pools do get a little bit bigger a little bit earlier on. Of course, most tournaments going to have that round of 16 still in the best of 9 format with a 5-2-2-3 and some amount of free mods for their pool structure. But we got some big pools, and big pools, means more maps, more fun. We get to enjoy some more good music that our poolers have brought to us. It's going to be up to Utah to pick what good song they want to listen to next. I'm looking at something like a Hard Rock 3 or a No Mod 3 at the moment. But no, I have forgotten about it the whole time. They're finally busting it out. It's the easy one. And
Yep.
I think this is a good time to pick it. You know, you're almost if you lose this one, you're giving Wisconsin match point. This might be your last chance to pick it. So you really want to get it in now and make sure you guarantee yourself one final pick in this match. This easy 3.5 minutes long, as you mentioned earlier. It's gonna be a lot longer than all the other easy maps we've had so far. A lot more difficult to learn and pretty dense, especially compared to the easy one from last round, the round of 32. It's definitely a clear step up. And if you're not proficient in reading easy, then you will struggle to learn this map.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I would rather see a DT4 come out of Utah at this point. Maybe they're not feeling the more like techie aspect of that one, but I think they did like beat Wisconsin on the quals DT3 by a sizable margin.
It was
Meanwhile,
quite a small bit.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it was around 150,000 team score with only 2 placings between them.
Interesting. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, 150k, that will also be the score difference of the easy one, but notably that one is 7 seeds in favor of Utah, so hopefully they can also win this one, but it will be a much more difficult map, not quite as learnable if you are not proficient on that reading like you mentioned.
Yep. Potential saying he drank 2 energy drinks before this match. My goodness. That is not something you want to do at 1 in the morning. Spiking your heart rate quite a bit.
I don't know about energy drinks and easy. You might need to take melatonin for that mod.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that is good about picking easy later on in the match is you have mostly settled your tournament nerves. You've settled into the match, and nerves are pretty bad for any sort of reading map. You know, they sort of take up a lot of your brain space, a lot of your mental processing power, and you need a lot of that if you want to properly understand what's happening on your screen and be able to play the map. We do have the rosters in the lobby here. It's going to be Asfuho and Anomaly in for the side of Utah, of course losing their other easy foe from last year, Charby. So it looks like Alfio is going to be the third man forced to fill. On the other side, Potential, not exactly known for his low AR, but it does look like he's put some time into learning this map, as has Greeny and Horsey. Horsey, of course, going to be quite familiar with the ARs below 9 and showing proficiency as expected of him. It's going to be Alfio, the only person to find any breaks at all on this map, and that is his second so far. The rest of his team holding on nicely as Alfio finds a third misread. The sole difference maker at this point is a 50,000 score lead. Of course, with the easy multiplier already being added here. Horsey finding a big chain miss on the back and forths, though. That is quickly going to put things to a stop. But yeah, as I was saying, you can sort of convert that score difference into what you would see with no mod by just multiplying that number at the bottom of your screen by 2. It's around 140,000 score lead for Wisconsin if you think about it in the terms of no mod. As we were talking, however, it does look like Anomaly did break his combo in the previous KI section. Alfio going to be following it up with another miss on these back and forths. Very difficult to read if you're not super proficient on the easy. And we are seeing a little bit of a proficiency gap as Greeny and Potential holding on to their combos. And yeah, I'm going to have to give some apologies to Potential later, as I was not familiar with their easy game. He is outperforming the hidden reading player in Horsey on his own team. And unfortunately for Utah, I think losing Charby is really hurting them here. Alfie forced to be their third player on the fill the easy. They did pick it, so I assume they must have practiced it, but more misreads on the buzz sliders, and yeah, this is looking...
Yeah, that was letting go of the buzz sliders for both Anomaly and Alfie, I believe. Unfortunately, Anomaly just... he looks to like he's like, it's not like he's playing badly. He does have the highest accuracy in the lobby. He did have an SS for a bit even, but unfortunately just like the timing of these misses is really hurting them. I mean, with that being said, though, he would have had to FC. Actually, no, that wouldn't even be enough for his team to win. So, yeah, just looking like a mispick for Utah.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate third man issue, and perhaps a little bit surprised that Potential was able to do so well on this one. I'm gonna go look at their qual stats and see what they got on that one, as I am quite interested in. Yeah, it was looking really bleak if you look back at the quals. Horsey at a 300k S rank, and it was actually Lemonade with the 200k and Greeny with a 100k. So yeah, things looking very, very different from what we saw back then. And with that, Wisconsin do take a break point to put themselves on match point. And this is not a good scenario to be in if you're Utah. Wisconsin getting potentially the last pick of the match, looking to close things out on their own terms, and Utah going to need a break point and a win on a pick of their own if they want to bring things to the tiebreaker. Yeah, Potential looks like he practiced that map a ton. 20 full attempts before this match. That is 20 times 3.5. I'll let you do the math on how many.
An hour of
easy.
Over an hour of easy. What? That's insane. I mean, respect the dedication. I mean, maybe he did just sense that Utah would try to get him on that one, and he did what he had to do.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting some absolute cinema as Wisconsin try to close this one out. It is a no mod 1 pick. It is Inai Sekai by Primary.
Yeah, another long map here. So this one's going to be a long and tough battle, I presume.
Yeah, Wisconsin doing everything in their power to give us some absolute cinema to kick off the round of 16. 250 BPM. This is some high BPM aim. Not exactly the most comfy either, but not quite the spacing and patterning you would expect from an alt map. It's somewhere a little bit in between, going to be a little bit awkward and difficult to assess how good you are, but I think if you are comfortable on high BPM aim, then this will be a pretty good pick for you.
Yeah, we're just going to have to see, though, because I think we were, like, earlier in the match, we were talking about how maybe Utah not feeling too good about the aim, but I mean, they have won their fair share of aim picks in this match, so I mean, I think this one's up in the air.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is pretty close in BPM to the Hidden 3. The patterning, of course, a lot more spaced out than what we saw there, and even that one was fairly close, a sub 100k scoreline, and then you take a look at something like the DT1, and that was won by quite a large margin.
Oh yeah, you're right.
From Wisconsin. And even the easy one just now, you could almost call that a bit of an aim map with some reading elements to it, or maybe a reading map with some aim elements to it, if you will. So aim, it's a weird spot, but it does seem to slightly favor Wisconsin at the moment, as we are getting into the map, potentially the last map of tonight. And for Wisconsin, we see a roster of Potential, Greeny, and it's going to be Lifewater, their aim player, not Horsey this time. And Utah going to be placing their bets, putting their hopes in Alfie, the captain, Mendako, his duo, and the rookie Koyanagi Kaho.
Yeah,
So
you did mention that the similar BPM in Hidden 3, and that is going to be the roster for which Utah will decide to put in for this Mod 1. But yeah, let's get into this KI. Lifewater finding a miss right before it begins.
Yeah, a couple of alt-esque 1-2 ascending patterns. Going to be catching off his combo and bringing it down as we are into this combo, and it is Utah fighting to avoid elimination. And quite a big fall off off of their previous year's placing, but things are looking good at the beginning. Everyone holding through that first TI section. Only Lifewater find the break. Even the rookie for Utah doing just fine for himself. The accuracy is on the other side.
As you mentioned,
but as I mentioned that, Mindako and it's Alfio to follow it up. As they were looking so good, it's looking like a collapse. Going into the second Ki, Potential and Green, he's still holding onto the FCs. Potential at 99.6 accuracy too. And in the blink of an eye, things have started to fall apart for Utah. They are looking to drop from 13th through 16th last year into a bottom finish. And tragedy is beginning to right itself.
Bro,
in their
Kaho says, bruh. I mean, that's 3 players on Utah smoking out their frustrations. Mindako, I do believe that was a slider break to start it. I didn't quite catch how Alfie missed, but yeah, they're not recovering well either. This might just be done.
Yeah, and Lifewater and Koyanagi Kaho will trade back some combo breaks. But it is 350,000 score into the last part of this map. Potential and Greeny still holding on to recoveries that are larger than anything on the side of Utah. These combos are large lads. I believe they're actually still FCs.
Yeah, I think so. Oh my goodness.
And, you know, do you know the meaning of Inai Sekai? It is a world where I don't exist, and soon I think we will be living in a world of 5USC where Utah does not exist, as they're looking to go out in last place, 25th through 32nd place. The door is closing shut on them. That is 600,000 score lead in the hole, and they are seconds away from being sent home. A little bit more of a collapse from the Koyanagi Kaho and Mindako. Some salt in the wound to rub it in at the end as Alfio also dropping into the ending. Potential will not finish the full combo, but they have done more than enough. And Utah are sent packing.
Yeah, well played to Wisconsin this match. Just looking a little more solid on their own picks in the end. Unfortunately, Utah not really stabilizing in that department when it mattered the most. But well done to all the players on Utah, especially to Koyanagi Kaho, the rookie.
Yeah, definitely a lot of potential in the rookie there. Hopeful to see them return next year. And Utah maybe gonna need to figure out how to smooth out the cracks in their gimmick roster, but for now, it is
press
the
refresh,
flowers
press
to
refresh, press refresh.
Yeah. But for now, it is
click on the winners thing.
As we are having some technical difficulties. There we go, sorted out the winners card, Wisconsin, as we give them their flowers and commiserations to Utah. Of course, Potential and Horsey putting in a lot of work. And also, finally having their entire roster here, as Lifewater has made it back to the United States just in time to move his team along in the lower bracket, as they will be advancing to the quarterfinals to face, as we take a second to pull up the bracket, to face, pause, the loser of match 30, which will be Florida versus Kentucky. Of course, a bit of a quite the tough match ahead of them, and especially with the SR scaling up as it will. But for now, they can rest easy for the next week and a half or so, of course, not having to play any matches until next weekend, as the rest of the matches will happen over the course of this next weekend. And the pool being released shortly after that.
Yeah, speaking of the rest of the matches for this this week, we don't have anything scheduled so far. I mean, no reschedules. I mean, not all reschedules probably are done yet, but the next match so far is just going to be on Thursday afternoon. That's going to be Texas B versus Virginia B, and then we don't have anything until the weekend. So yeah, I guess, I mean, see you guys in like, what, 2 days?
A couple days. It is going to be a couple days until our next match. That is Thursday, 22 UTC. Of course, another ping will go out for you guys then. That's Texas B versus Virginia B, and then after that, it's going to be a Saturday 1 UTC start to the weekend, a nice Friday evening match, some Major League action. But for now, that is going to be all for us. It is a late night, and I hope you all get some good rest. I've been blessed. This has been Laren. Thank you very much so for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace. Oh, wait, hold on, actually,
wait, hold up.
on.
TV
It
alert.
looks like we are getting some TV action. Excuse me, don't go anywhere yet. Stay, please. Where's the show? The show must go on. The show is still going on. And a show we will have as Fuo putting easy on the TV.
Yo. This one's yeah, this is a pretty long one, but it's quite fun.
Yeah, so first match of the round, and we do get to see a little bit of a tiebreaker show match here. Some fun after a nice little match. It's gonna be Camellia D for the Delta. You know, there's actually a CS7 version of this map that's ranked. Did you know that?
What?
Yeah, crazy. I actually knew about that version of this song before this version. So my entire image of this map is just tiny circles on some crazy tech that's like almost 7 stars. And it probably is just 7 stars because, you know, precision and SR weighting and whatnot.
Oh, you guys can't see it, but this is actually, I believe, this is a 4v4. 2 players not shown in the cams. That will be Horsey and Lifewater, who are also playing this.
Lifewater is a Wisconsin player, so that's gonna be a 5v3 for
Oh,
them, actually. I mean, I don't think, I'm pretty sure the scores don't get reflected in the UI.
I think they should, but actually, maybe not.
Yeah, there's also the chance that one of them just swapped colors in the lobby and, you know, they're acting like their score counts for Utah's. But in the bottom right corner, looking at as Fufu, you're having some fun on the easy. Yeah, this is pretty dense.
Yeah, no one else taking any mods for fun except for Horsey on the hidden, which you guys can't see, but he does have 970 combo.
I mean,
980 combo going into the break.
Is a bit of a hidden preference player. We did see that quite a bit in RTT7. He was quite a big hidden player, and we do see that Horsey
smokes out Utah.
Horsey FC on potential screen.
Utah. I mean, let's just see if Horsey can hold on to this FC. I'm gonna try to like do my best to describe it, but he's just broken 1,000 combo leading up to another Ki.
We'll have to keep an eye on that as the map goes on. For now, I'm just fascinated by what's going on in the bottom left here as Fuhuo. You know, normally a practice player, I don't think he can really read easy just super well naturally. I mean, I assume he can read it well enough to be able to learn maps. And of course, the easy one score earlier, top scoring for his team, almost 400k, with only a single slider break to his name there. So proficient enough on the easy, but I mean, trying to sight read a map like this it's definitely going to be more so entertainment than actually playing for a score. But hey, you know what? It's a show match. Are you not entertained? Because I certainly am. Anyway, how's that Horsey going on?
I did just refresh my client to get a proper display because I had it on 6. I thought it might be 6v6, but I do believe, I think he did break unless it's Banter. Let me see. Oh, he's in like bottom slot. I can't even see him. I have to put on 5-6 players.
All right. Well, we will wait on that as Fuhu finding some interesting aims with the easy mod. Of course, lots of good fun there. But yeah, we do have a long weekend ahead of us. I think there's certainly a few marquee matchups we can talk about as this tiebreaker show match plays out in front of us. I'm going to be looking towards... I mean, of course, all the rest of the lower bracket matchups are going to be very important and interesting, of course. Multiple teams with their tournament life on the line.
My God,
But,
I think Corsi like basically just broke. He's got 800k on this.
Wow. So that's going to be an FC joke from Horsey.
Yeah, and Lifewater with also another respectable score that you guys can't see. He's putting up it's going to be 1,000 combo as the map ends. But yeah, so I think has the second highest, or either slugger potential. Didn't quite see it.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be there's going to be some good scores on this map. It is pretty simple, light mech tech. I wouldn't quite call it tech, but it's light tech. We can give it that much. But yeah, of course, thank you very much playing Utah. And we will see you guys in next year. I know we will. As Wisconsin move on in their lower bracket journey. Of course,
Well,
yeah, one last note about this tiebreaker. There's going to be a lot of close matchups in the upper bracket as well. I'm definitely expecting to see a good amount of tiebreakers. But for now, flowers to Wisconsin as they continue their run in the 5-digit United States Cup 2026 edition. And finally, that actually will be all from us here tonight. Laren, any final closing words? Any thoughts, prayers?
Well played again to both teams, and yeah, good luck in your future endeavors, I guess.
All right. Well, that's going to be all from us. Thank you oh so much for watching. Of course, thank you to Vleth for streaming at such a late hour of the night. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. See you later, Thursday 22 UTC. Be there or be square.